All set first race, 6 starters, top of the stretch. Lakeside Dusty, Steve Mahar. Shia Boy, Sean Shannon. Remembered Ave, Jill Barrio. Loon Bay Lady, Doug Falcons. Transition and John Davidson and Dr. Dividend with Gary Vincent. Here they come. Way off, Lakeside Dusty pacing a top in on the rail. Shia Boy up on the outside, challenging his second. Transition on the outside, she's racing third. Remember Nev has a fourth, and Loon Bay Lady. Dr. Dividend trailing the field, and they race around the turn. They're by the eighth. Waco on up the backstretch, driving to the quarter. It's Lakeside Dusty, and like that a half. Shia Boy on the rail, racing a second. Transition his third. Then Remember Nev, Loon Bay Lady. Dr. Dividend trailing the field, and Lakeside Dusty is the leader. And they were by the quarter, 30 3/5. Top turn, Lakeside Dusty a length. Shia Boy racing is second. Remember Nev. Transition is third. Remember Nev is fourth, and Transition out to challenge now from third. They're by the 3/8. Off the turn now through the stretch onto the half. It's Lakeside Dusty in command, and up strong on the outside. It is a Transition challenging for the top. Then Shia Boy third. Dr. Dividend moving fourth with cover. Remember Nev and Loon Bay Lady 3 out and 3 in as they go by the half at 103. Out of the turn now, they drive on to the 5/8 pole. Lakeside Dusty still the best, and on the outside, Transition lapped on the leader. Shia Boy a third. Dr. Dividend now fourth. Remember Nev, Loon Bay Lady to the 3/4 pole we go. Lakeside Dusty by a head. On the outside, Transition second. And they're neck and nose to nose as they go racing on by the 3/4 pole, and Transition gets a nose in front. They were by the 3/4 pole. 1:34 3 now. Lakeside Dusty again. He takes the top back. Transition outside. Racing second. Shia Boy right there third. Dr. Dividend fourth. Remember Nev, Loon Bay Lady at the head of the lane. They swing for home. Lakeside Dusty. Transition challenging second, coming on again. Shia Boy extreme outside. Loon Bay Lady coming on. Gonna be tight at the line. Lakeside Dusty holds. Transition, Shia Boy, Loon Bay Lady, tight between Remember Nev, Dr. Dividend, and the time for the mile, 2:06 3. The winner of the first race, number 1, Lakeside Dusty, Brown Horse 5, a quality blue chip out of Friendly Greenwood, she by Newport Robbie. On of a Harry McIntosh of St. John, trained by John Davies, Steve Mahar driving. Lakeside Dusty scoring his 4th winning trip this year. This afternoon, 2:06 3. Result of the first race official, Lakeside Dusty, your race winner. Shia Boy, 3rd. Remember Nev, 6th. Loon Bay Lady, 4th. Kevin Dillon, scratched. Transition, 2nd. Dr. Dividend, 5th. Race times, quarter, 30 3/5. The half, 1:03. 3/4, 1:34 3. Time for the mile, 2:06 3. And we're all set now for the second race with 5 starters. Magnetic Rose scratched. Behind the gate, Ralph Zaddy with Elmore White. Rocking the Baby and Jill Barrio. Burden of Freedom with Milt Downey. Domino Rex with Brian Moore. Jim Jam Corky and Ken Spinney. Here they come. They're off. Burden of Freedom charging to the top, and Domino Rex outside challenging his second. Ralph Zanny his third and on the rail. Rocking the Baby is fourth. Jim Jam Corky trails. They're neck and neck for the top. Burden of Freedom on the inside. Domino Rex up on the outside. Neck and nose to nose, and now Domino Rex grabs the top. Burden of Freedom is racing a second. Ralph Zanny has a third. Rocking the Baby's racing fourth, and Jim Jam Corky trailing fifth, and Domino Rex out now by 2.5. The leader by the quarter at 29 3. Domino Rex leads into the turn on top by 3. Burden of Freedom is second. Ralph Zanny has a third. Rocking the Baby fourth, and Jim Jam Corky trailing fifth. They swing off the top turn. Here they come. Racing to the half. Domino Rex pacing on top. Burden of Freedom racing second, then Ralph's Annie rocking the baby, Jim Jam Corky, and Domino Rex the leader by 2 lengths as they go racing on by the half. By that half, in a minute and 3/5, they're racing round the turn, driving on to the 5/8 pole. Domino Rex cutting out a quickie, leads a length and a half. Burden of Freedom, there goes rocking the baby. Up strong on the outside, third and going on. It is Domino Rex and Burden of Freedom, and rocking the baby outside, drives on to second. They're 3 wide as they go to the 3/4 pole, and rocking the baby gets the top. Domino Rex and Burden of Freedom between horses. They were by that 3/4 pole. 1:32 into the top turn, 3 wide, neck and neck. Domino Rex again. Burden of Freedom between them. On the outside, rocking the baby. Jim Jam Corky right there, 4th. They make the turn for home, fanning out 3 wide. It is Domino Rex, Burden of Freedom, rocking the baby on the extreme outside, and Jim Jam Corky's coming on. Domino Rex, Burden of Freedom, rocking the baby, going to be tight at the line, and it's too tight to call. Maybe rocking the baby, Domino Rex, Burden of Freedom, Jim Jam Corky, and then Ralph's Annie. Too tight to call, really. The time for the mile, 2:04. Judges have called for a photo for win for the second race in the photo number 3, rocking the baby, a Bay Filly 3. She's by What a Monster. Out of Mary Eileen by Oil Burner. On by Fairroth Investments of St. John, trained and driven by Jill Barrio. Also in the photo, number 5, Domino Rex, Bay Gelding 4. He's by Quality Blue Chip. Out of French Fries, she by O'Brien Hanover. On by Gordon Foster of Hampton, trained and driven by Brian Moore. Time for the mile 2:04. That'll be a new win race record for whichever horse is declared the winner. Now the result of the second race now official. Ralph's Annie was 5th. Magnetic Rose scratched. Rocking the Baby, your race winner. Burden of Freedom was 3rd. Domino Rex 2nd. Jim Jam Corky 4th. The time's 1:29 and 3. The half a minute and 3/5. 3/4, 1:32. Time for the mile, 2:04. A new win race record for Rocking the Baby. The old mark was 2:06 and 1. All set for the third race. 8 starters behind the gate. Snake Charmer, John Davidson. Keystone Links, Doug Falcons. Credit Note with Jill Barrio. Easy Time Gal and Steve Mahar. Kilcare and Eagle with Brian Moore. Man and Direct with Ross McDonald. Fly Siggy and Jody Hennessy, and more MacDars with Don Mahar. Here they come. They're off. Keystone Links bidding for the top. Credit Note, and so is Easy Time Gal. 3 wide, neck and neck into the turn. Keystone Links pacing with the lead, though, on the inside. Then a Credit Note racing second. Easy Time Gal third. Snake Charmers on the rail of 4th. Fly Siggy has a 5th, and Kilcare and Eagle. More MacDars. Mad and Direct Trails. Easy Time Gal has moved to second, goes challenging for the top, and Easy Time Gal grabs the top with Keystone Links racing second. Then Credit Note has a 3rd, Snake Charmer 4th. They were by the quarter, 30 and 2, and Keystone Links back on top again. Keystone Links and Easy Time Gal. Credit Note racing a 3rd, Snake Charmers 4th, Fly Siggy racing 5th. They're by the 3/8 pole now and off the turn, and here they come through the stretch. They're racing to the half. Keystone Links cuts it out, leads a length and a half. Easy Time Gal racing second. Here comes Snake Charmer up 3rd on the outside. Credit Note is racing 4th. Kilcare and Eagle moving 5th with cover behind a Man and Direct. Then Fly Siggy and more MacDars, and they were by the half in 2 and 3. Round the turn they go for the 5/8 pole. Keystone Links well in hand up on the outside. At challenging second, it is a Snake Charmer. Easy Time Gal is 3rd. Man and Direct out 3 wide, drives on to 4th. At Keystone Links drives on. Opens up a lead now of 2.5, and Keystone Links moving away from them. They were by the 3/4 pole. 1:33 and 2. Keystone Links now by a 4, making it more. Then Easy Time Gal, Snake Charmer, Mad and Direct. Then it is a Credit Note. Kilkerran Eagle, Fly Siggy, they swing for home. It is all Keystone Links. Keystone Links, Snake Charmer, Easy Time, Gal, Mad and Direct, Fly Siggy. But Keystone Links wins this one on alone. Then Snake Charmer for second, Easy Time, Gal, Mad and Direct. Tight between Credit Note, Fly Siggy, Kilkerran Eagle, and Mormac Doris. And the time for the mile, 2:04 and 3. We parade now the winner of our third race, number 2, Keystone Links, a bay mare. She's 6 years. She's by Keystone Ore, out of Loki, Hanover, by Warm Breeze. Owned by Mrs. Myrtle Falcons of Hampton, trained and driven by Doug Falcons. It's win number 5 this year for Keystone Links, her season's best, 2:04 and 3. Now the result of the third race, now official. Snake Charmer was second. And Keystone Links, the race winner. Credit Note was 6th. Easy Time Gal, 4th. And Kilkerran Eagle, 7th. Madden Direct, 3rd. Fly Siggy, 5th. Mormac Doris, 8th. The race times quarter 30 and 2/5. The half 1:02 and 3. 3/4 1:33 and 2. The time for the mile, 2:04 and 3. And we're all set now for the fourth race. We've got 6 starters behind the gate, and they're approaching the top of the stretch. There's Island Kazik with Jill Barrior, Nalaber Star with Jody Hennessy, Bright Jennifer, Steve Mahar, Tarport Tassel, Bill Nicholson, Fleet Sailster with Brady Charlton, Hillview Star with Wayne Mahar, and here they come. They're off. Island Kazik pacing atop. Nalaber Star going forward. Fleet Sailster 3 wide, drives on 3rd. They're into the turn, and Nalaber Star goes to the top. Up on the outside, Fleet Sailster racing 2nd. Island Kazik has 3rd. Bright Jennifer's 4th. Tarport Tassel is 5th, and Hillview Star trails. They're on their way to the quarter pole. It is Nalaber Star. And there goes Fleet Sailster out from 2nd. He quickly grabs the top. Fleet Sailster, Nalaber Star. Then we go back 2.5 to Island Kazik racing 3rd. Bright Jennifer, she is 4th. Tarport Tassel, Hillview Star. They were by the quarter, 30 seconds. Round the top turn, Fleet Sailster. He's on top at 2.5. Nalaber Star racing 2nd by 3. Island Kazik 3rd, Bright Jennifer 4th, Tarport Tassel, Hillview Star, and through the stretch they come. They are racing to the half. Pacing on top, Fleet Sailster out now by 3. Nalaber Star racing 2nd. Island Kazik, Bright Jennifer, Tarport Tassel, and Hillview Star, and there goes Bright Jennifer, making a move from 4th. They were by the half in a minute and 2/5. Round the turn they go for the 5/8. Fleet Sailster, Nalaber Star, Bright Jennifer now up on the outside, drives on 3rd. Island Kazik is 4th. Tarport Tassel moving 5th. And Bright Jennifer's gone to 2nd. She's lapped on the leader, bidding for the top, and Bright Jennifer is there. She is the leader as they go breezing by the 3/4 pole. 1:31 and 2. Bright Jennifer now but 2. Fleet Sailster, Tarport Tassel 3rd. Nalaber Star, Island Kazik, Hillview Star. Out the 7/8 it is Bright Jennifer now but 2.5. Heading home, Bright Jennifer, Fleet Sailster, Tarport Tassel, Island Kazik up on the extreme outside. Bright Jennifer holding Island Kazik, and here they are. It is Bright Jennifer, Island Kazik, Fleet Sailster, Nalaber Star, Tarport Tassel, and Hillview Star. And the time for the mile, 2:03. Out parading now the winner of our fourth race, number 3, Bright Jennifer. Bay Filly 3 by Willow Bird. Out of Seabright, she by Tarport Irvin. Owned by the Jelly Lake Stable of St. John. Trained and driven by Steve Mahar. The filly getting her 4th win from 7 tries this year. At her season's best, 2:03. Now the result of the 4th race official. Island Kazik 2nd. Nalaber Star was 4th. Bright Jennifer, your race winner. Tarport Tassel was 5th. Fleet Sailster 3rd. Hillview Star was 6th. And the race times, quarter 30 seconds, the half a minute and 2/5. 3/4, 1:31 and 2. The time for the mile, 2:03. We're all set now for this afternoon's featured 5th race, field of 5. At the top of the stretch, Cher Bear and Charlie Ross, Sharp Doc with Brady Charlton, I'm 1-2 with Steve Mahar, Maple Grove Shadow, Winston Campbell on Broadway, Jill Barrio, here they come. Clear off, I'm 1-2, grabs the top, Cher Bear racing forward on the inside is a second, Sharp Doc on the rail is third, on Broadway outside is fourth, at Maple Grove Shadow racing fifth and around the turn. They drive out by the 8th pole and I'm 1-2's on top, a length and a quarter. Cher Bear second on Broadway, driving up a third, going on. On Broadway goes to second, and now on Broadway gets the top. He's the leader. And I'm 1-2 a second. Cher Bear, Sharp Doc, Maple Grove Shadow. On Broadway, the leader by the quarter, 29 and 4, top turn. On Broadway, I'm 1-2 a second. Cher Bear third, Sharp Doc fourth, Maple Grove Shadow. They come to the 3/8 pole. On Broadway, the leader. Then I'm 1-2 a second. Through the stretch they come. On Broadway, I'm 1-2. Cher Bear, here comes the Shadow moving from the rear of the pack. Up front, on Broadway is the leader as they go racing out by the half. They were by the half in 1:02 and 2. Round the turn for the 5/8 they go, and it is on Broadway. I'm 1-2 a second. Up on the outside, Maple Grove Shadow driving third, Cher Bear fourth, Sharp Doc outside fifth. On to the 3/4 pole on Broadway, a length and a half now. And I'm 1-2 a second. Maple Grove Shadow hangs a third. Cher Bear and Sharp Doc, and it was on Broadway by the 3/4 pole. 1:33 top turn on Broadway but 2. I'm 1-2 a second. Maple Grove Shadow third. Cher Bear and Sharp Doc. They come out by the 7/8. They make the turn for home. On Broadway, turning it on, moving out. On Broadway, I'm 1-2. The Shadow, Cher Bear, Sharp Doc, it is all on Broadway. He wins it off by himself. I'm 1-2. The Shadow, Sharp Doc, and Cher Bear. And the time for the mile, new season's mark for Exhibition Park, 2:01 and 4. And parading now the winner of this afternoon's featured 5th race. It is number 5 on Broadway. Bay Gelding, he's 5 by Sun Sam. Out of Silent Sister, she by Henry T. Adios. On Broadway is owned by Fairroth Investments of St. John, trained and driven by Jill Barrio. It's his second winning trip this season from 3 tries. And a new season's mark for Exhibition Park, 2:01 and 4 on Broadway, stepping his last half in 59 and 2. Last quarter, better still, 28 and 4. On Broadway, 2:01 and 4. And the result of the 5th race is now official. Cher Bear was 5th. Sharp Doc was 4th. I'm 1-2 was 2nd. Maple Grove Shadow 3rd, and on Broadway, your race winner. The race times, quarter 29 and 4. The half 1:02 and 2. 3/4 1:33. Time for the mile, 2:01 and 4. All set for the 6th race, top of the stretch. Young Fun and Jim Ward, Miss Levy Road, Jody Hennessy. Never Dream Alone with Brady Charlton, Milford Abbey, Winston Campbell. Tell the Future with Steve Mahar and Maritime Pipeline, Jill Barrio. Here they come. Clear off and Young Fun, pacing and top in on the rail, Miss Levy Road. She's off stride on the run. Into the turn, Young Fun pacing on top. Milford Abbey's racing second. Maritime Pipeline has gone to a third. Never Dream Alone is a fourth. Tell the Future racing fifth. And Miss Levy Road trailing far back, but pacing it up from second. There goes Milford Abbey, winging for the top. Young Fun racing forward. Milford Abbey gets a nose in front on the outside, and Milford Abbey is the leader as they go racing on by the opening quarter. They were by that marker, 31 seconds. Out of the top turn, Milford Abbey and Young Fun. Back 2 lengths to Maritime Pipeline, racing third. Never Dream Malone is a fourth. Tell the Future has fifth. Miss Levy Road trailing has got the field, though. They come off the top turn. They're racing through the stretch onto the half, and it is Milford Abbey on top. Then Young Fun is second. Maritime Pipeline racing third. Tell the Future coming up on the outside. Maritime Pipeline's out from third. Tell the Future's fourth. Never Dream Malone and Miss Levy Road. They were by the half in 102 and 4. Round the turn for the 5/8 they go. It is Milford Abbey. Maritime Pipeline lapped on her. Milford Abbey by a neck. Maritime Pipeline inching up on the outside. They're neck and neck. Then it's Young Fun and Tell the Future. Never Dream Alone and Miss Levy Road off stride again, trailing. They're onto the 3/4 pole, and Milford Abbey holding that lead. Now 3 parts of a length. Milford Abbey, the leader by the 3/4. 1:33 and 3. Top turn, Milford Abbey. Maritime Pipeline on the outside second. Tell the Future tipping out 3 wide, racing fourth coming on. Young Fun, Never Dream Alone, they head for home. Milford Abbey, Maritime Pipeline, Tell the Future on the extreme outside, now grabs the top. It is Tell the Future, here they are, tight at the line, too tight to call, really. Tell the Future and Milford Abbey. And the time for the mile, 2:05 and 1. Parading now the winner of the 6th race, number 5, Tell the Future. Bay Horse 4 by Fortune Teller out of Fortune Molly, she by Sun Sam. Owned by Art Green and Gary Abrick of St. John and Rothsay, trained by Art Green. Steve Mahar driving. Tell the Future scoring his 4th winning trip this year, this afternoon, 2:05 and 1. Result of the 6th race is official. Young Fun was 5th. Miss Levy Road 6th. Never Dream Alone was 3rd. Milford Abbey 2nd. Tell the Future, your race winner. Maritime Pipeline was 4th. Race times that were by the quarter, 31, the half, 102 and 4. 3/4, 1:33 and 3. The time for the mile, 2:05 and 1. Okay, last night, we're going to take a break. Last night at the Meadowlands at East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Maritime Bred champion Seltzer Blue, astounding everybody with a new record performance of 1:53 and 4. The colt was bred in Hampton by Mrs. Hazel Scarf and Dr. Hugh Baird. You recall that he was our horse of the year here at EPR last year. He was 13 for 13 in the Maritimes and sold in the winter time for well over $100,000. Friday night at the Meadowlands, he paced in 1:53 and 4. And through the cooperation of the folks at the Meadowlands, we're able to show that race to you now.
Open, you've got long shots on the inside. Despite the fact there are only 6 in this race, you're going to take a look at the reason for these high prices, and it involves number 6, Mark Jonathan, odds on indeed, Mike LaChance on the bike at 1-5, Seltzer Blue 9-2, drop off is at 6-1, but the horse to watch is the one on the outside, looking for his 8th victory in 9 starts, Mark Jonathan. Tom Durkin with the call.
They're off, and the drop-off is out first. Seltzer Blue is there. And Mark Jonathan's on the outside, 4 wide moving into the first turn. Rocking Jimmy comes up from the rail. Then down inside, it's Pipsqueak, and the early trailer is Dr. No-No. And around the first turn, Seltzer Blue leads the way early. Drop off, Park second. Down inside, Rocking Jimmy racing in 3rd position. And Mark Jonathan, the favorite, moves over to the rail in 4th. Then it's Pipsqueak as they race by the quarter in 28 2/5 seconds. And drop off now, up to take the lead on the outside. Seltzer Blue is second, and Mike LaChance takes Mark Jonathan to the outside now and is asked for more as they continue at the backstretch, about 5 lengths off the lead. Rocking Jimmy was a bit rough-gated there momentarily. He's now dropped back to 4th. There's a gap of 5 back to Pipsqueak, and Dr. No-No continues to trail the field. Drop-off will lead the way past the half-mile pole, moving comfortably there in 56 3/5 seconds, followed by Seltzer Blue second, and Mark Jonathan is third. 3 lengths off the lead as they enter the final turn. And then it's Rocking Jimmy racing fourth, followed by Pipsqueak, and at the end is Dr. No-No. Around the far turn, it's still Drop-Off leading the way, followed closely by Seltzer Blue. And now Mark Jonathan makes his move on the outside. Here he comes now racing third. Rocking Jimmy is fourth. Coming to the top of the lane, Drop-Off still strong on the lead. Seltzer Blue is second. Mark Jonathan poised on the outside. Rocking Jimmy's fourth. Off the turn in 125 and 1, and it's Drop-Off to catch from here. Mark Jonathan on the outside. Seltzer Blue's coming through on the rail. Seltzer Blue trying to get through on the inside. Drop-Off is there, and Mark Jonathan is still third. And here comes Pipsqueak closing stoutly on the outside. Going to be close here, and Seltzer Blue gets through on the inside. On the far outside, Pipsqueak, and Mark Jonathan has been defeated, and it's going to be Seltzer Blue, a length and a quarter.
Upset time indeed. Mark Jonathan coming back from the 6-week layoff. Now, for those who've never seen him before, you think, well, he looks a little gangly, he looks a little unorthodox. That's the way he races.
And that's why Gerald Block still owns him, because he tried to sell him early in his career but couldn't do it because people didn't like the way he was gated. As you can see, he's kind of funny gated, but very long on talent. Had a little bit of a rough trip, tucked twice in the backstretch. He had to go first over. These are quality horses he's in against. 6 weeks off, first time weighs 6. And he's just a buck short. And I'm sure people who had the $20,000 first splash to show are anxious right here. On the inside, though, nothing against Seltzer Blue. He roars up on a perfect trip, 153 and 4, lifetime best. Kenny Seaver's got everything sharp right now, and he's the man to watch right now in the trainer column.
Undefeated last year as a 2-year-old, 13 for 13, 4 wins and 8 starts now for Seltzer Blue, owned by LPG Standardbred Associates, Bonnie Call, and AMRF Racing Stable of New Jersey and New York. Kenny Seaver trains, and John Campbell, Van Ankle and all, in the bike with turning $11, $840, and $210 with number 4, Seltzer Blue. 2 Pipsqueak was second, $17.60 and $210, and the 1-5 favorite, Mark Jonathan, a disappointing third, $2.10 to show. The exacta 4 and 2 returned a handsome $184.80. So we begin the evening with an upset. Now we've got a lot more coming your way. Upsets perhaps, or maybe some favorites. We'll find out when we get back with tonight's Daily Double, tonight's second and third races right after these messages.
And again, thanks to the folks at the Meadowlands. We should also thank Aubrey Wood, who taped that last night off his dish. Seltzer Blue, 153 and 4, fastest of all the maritime breds in history. Now we go back to our own show here. And they race on up the backstretch going for the quarter. And it's Charlotte's Gem leading with 2, Swagger Stick racing second by half. Then hit over his third, Glengal Cobra's fourth. Looks Easy racing fifth. Then we go to Sriki Sheila and Rosemont Trails. And Charlotte's Gem was the leader by the quarter, 34 and a fifth. They go into the top turn. Charlotte's Gem up at 2. Swagger Stick is second. Head over racing third. Glengal Cobra is the fourth. Looks Easy fifth. Sriki Sheila, Rosemont Trails. They come off the top turn now and on through the stretch. They come to the half, and here comes Swagger Stick. Out from second to challenge. The 2 leaders racing neck and neck now. Swagger Stick and Charlotte's Gem, they're neck and neck. Head over racing third as they go by the half. In 103 and 1, they're into the turn onto the 5/8 pole. Pacing on top, Charlotte's Gem now a length again. Swagger Stick racing a second. Head over has a third, moving up on the inside. Looks Easy. Gets to third. Head over is now fourth, and back to third again, and patting out 3 wide and rushing on. Charlotte's Gem, head over is second, going 4 and takes the top. Head over now on top, and Charlotte's Gem is second. They are by the 3/4 pole. 134 and 2, top turn, head over by 2. Charlotte's Gem, Glengal Cobra driving third. Swagger Stick is a fourth. Looks Easy fifth. Then Sriki Sheila, Rosemont at the head of the lane. It is a head over. Charlotte's Gem and Glengal Cobra's coming on from third. Head over. Then Charlotte's Gem, Glengal Cobra. Head over's going to win this one. Glengal Cobra gets second. Here they are at the line. Head over. Glengal Cobra, Charlotte's Gem, Swagger Stick, Looks Easy, Sriki Sheila, still to come Rosemont, and the time for the mile, 2:06. And parading now, the winner of the 7th race, number 1, Head Over, first time starter. Bay Gelding, 3 years, Becam Fella, out of Hitty Hanover by Albatross. Owned by the Gemini Hill Stable of St. John, trained by Don Galbraith, Danny O'Brien driving. The Colt, winning his first lifetime start, takes a maiden record of 2:06. Race out of the 7th race is official. Headover, your race winner. Sricky Sheila 6th. Swagger Stick was 4th. Glengal Cobra 2nd. Charlotte's Gem 3rd. Looks Easy 5th, and Rosemont was 7th. Race times quarter 31. The half 103 and 1. 3/4 134 and 2. And the mile in 2:06. All set for the 8th race. 8 starters behind the gate. Mackmore Gentry, Steve Mahar, Count Marks, Doug Falcons, Lavon Laura, Ross McDonald, Trojan KT with John Davidson, Sarah Down with Steve Downey, Charlotte's Groover, Danny O'Brien, Arapa's Heart, Jody Hennessy, and Element of Success with Brian Moore. Here they come. They're often from the far outside. Element of Success is swinging for the top. They go into the turn, and Mackmore Gentry on the rail, and Count Marks in between horses. He's now the leader. Count Marks outside. Mackmore Gentry on the inside. They're neck and neck. Mackmore Gentry again. Count Marks outside. Le Bon Loris, he's racing 3rd. Element of Success is 4th. Charlotte's Groovy up on the inside 5th. They go to the quarter pole, and Count Marks moves up by a length. Mackmore Gentry racing 2nd. Le Bon Laura 3rd. And they were by at the opening quarter, 30 and 2. Charlotte's Groovy racing 4th. Element of Success Parks hangs 5th. Then it is a Trojan KT, Arapa's Heart on the move. Sarah Down trails. They're by the 3/8 now, and here they come through the stretch. They are racing to the half. Count Marks is on top. Mackmore Gentry racing 2nd. Le Bon Laura is 3rd. Charlotte's Groovy is racing 4th. Then it's Arapa's Heart. Element of Success, Sarah Down. Trojan KT trails. Count Marks the leader by the half, 101 and 1. Head of the turn, they go for the 5/8 pole. Pacing with the lead, Count Marks. Mackmore Gentry racing 2nd. Le Bon Laura 3rd. Then Charlotte's Groovy racing 4th. Arapa's Heart 5th. Then Element of Success, Sarah Down. Trojan KT, they go to the 3/4 pole. It is Count Marks. Mackmore Gentry racing 2nd. Le Bon Laura. Then Charlotte's Groovy racing 4th. Element of Success, Arapa's Heart, Sarah Down. They were by the 3/4 pole. 32 and 2. They're coming to the 7/8 pole. Count Marks, Mackmore Gentry coming to them at the head of the lane. It is Count Marks and Mackmore Gentry now. Mackmore Gentry, Count Marks. Charlotte's Groovy's a strong 3rd coming on, but it's going to be Mackmore Gentry. Here they are. Mackmore Gentry, Count Marks, then Sarah Down, Le Bon Laura, Element of Success, Charlotte's Groovy, Trojan KT, Arapa's Heart. Time for the mile, 2:04 and 2. 8th race, number 1, Mackmore Gentry, Bay Horse 5. He's by Test of Time out of Heather Betsy. She by Meadow Russ. Mackmore Gentry is owned by John Trites of Moncton. Is trained and driven by Steve Mahar. It's the 8th winning trip this year for Mackmore Gentry. He steps to a new win race record, 2-4 and 2, and that's the 4th winner so far this afternoon for Steve Mahar. The result of the 8th race is official. Mackmore Gentry, your race winner. Count Marks was 2nd. Le Bon Laura, 4th. Trojan KT finished 7th, was placed 6th. Sarah Down was 3rd. Charlotte's Groovy finished 6th, was placed 8th. Set back for an interference break in the 3/4 pole. Arapa's Heart was 8th, placed 7th, and Element of Success was 5th. And the race times, quarter 30 and 2/5. The half, 101 and 1. 3/4, 132 and 2. And the mile, 2:04 and 2.
Starters for the 9th race, they are at the top of the stretch. Dusty Trail Butte with Jody Hennessy, Joy Down, Steve Mason. Pep Rally with John Davidson, Glengarry Power, Ross McDonald, KM Dream, Ken Spinney, Brighton Lady with Steve Mahar, Oh Amy Singh, Brian Moore, and Glengyle Jolly with Wayne Mahar. Here they come. They're off, and as they leave the wire, Dusty Trail Butte and up on the outside. Brighton Lady bids for the top with Joy Down taking 3rd as they race into that first turn. Dusty Trail Butte now on the outside. Brighton Lady has taken command. Dusty Trail Butte now second. Joy Down grabs third as they go by the opening 8th pole. That's Oh Amy Sing working up on the outside to 4th. Glengarry Power is 5th. Then it is Pep Rally, KM Dream, and Glengyle Jolly Trails. Up the backstretch for the first quarter, Brighton Lady is in command. The mare leads a length and a half, and she takes them by that first quarter, by that marker 31 seconds flat. Brighton Lady shows the way. Dusty Trail Butte in the garden spot. Racing and looking good second. Joy Down is third. Glengarry Power is now racing 4th. On the rail now 5th. It's Oh Amy Sing. Then it's Pep Rally. Glengyle Jolly is on the move, and the trailer is KM Dream as they come off the top turn and make their way in front of the grandstand for the first time. Brighton Lady out from second comes Dusty Trail Butte, racing with cover third and on the move as well. It's Glengarry Power. Joy Down is racing 4th. Brighton Lady on top by the half and 104 and 2. Into the clubhouse turn for the second and final time. Your leader still Brighton Lady on the outside now, challenging second. Dusty Trail Butte. Joy Down up tight on the inside third. Glengarry Power 4th with cover on the outside, and they go driving to the 3/4. Brighton Lady retains her lead by a neck. On the outside second, it's Dusty Trail Butte. They go neck and neck. Dusty Trail Butte now shows on top, 3 wide. Glengarry Power is strong as well, 3 wide by the 3/4. 134 and 4, they're 3 wide. In between horses, Dusty Trail Butte. On the inside, Brighton Lady. Glengarry Power 3 wide, dropping back third. Looking for room in between horses is Joy Down. Then Oh Amy Sing, Pep Rally, Glengyle Jolly, and KM Dream, and they come driving home. In between horses, Dusty Trail Butte. On the outside, Joy Down. Glengarry Power is coming on. It's Dusty Trail Butte. Joy Down is there. They're coming to the wire, and Dusty Trail Butte wins it. Tight for place between Glengarry Power and Joy Down. Then looks like maybe Pep Rally. Time for the mile, 2:06 and 1. Parading back now, the winner of the 9th race. It's number 1, Dusty Trail Butte. Dusty Trail Butte is a bay-pacing mare. She's 4 years, by Curtis Hanover. Out of Beauty Greenwood, she by Hoot Frost. Owned and trained by John C. Davies of St. John. Jody Hennessy driving this afternoon. Dusty Trail Butte picks up her 8th winning trip of the season. This afternoon, she's a winner in 2:06 and 1. Number 1, Dusty Trail Butte, and driver Jody Hennessy. The result of race number 9 is now official. 9th race official. Dusty Trail Butte, your race winner. Joy Down, 3rd. Pep Rally was 4th. Glengarry Power, 2nd. KM Dream, 6th. Brighton Lady was 5th. Oh Amy Sing, 7th. Glengyle Jolly was 8th. The race times by the quarter in 31 seconds. They're past the half in 104 and 2. 3/4 in 134 and 4. Dusty Trail Butte, your winner in 2:06 and 1. 10th race starters at the top of the stretch. There's Kate Finesse and Brian Moore. Clarified with Gilberto. Don Down, Steve Mason. Dewey Dynamo with Steve Mahar. Carrot River, Ross McDonald. I'm a Seahawk with Jody Hennessy. Jet Step and Doug Falkins, and from the outside, Made of Luck and John Davidson. Here they come. They're off and leaving the wire from post 5 goes Carrot River. He battles quickly to the top. Kate Finesse and Clarified racing in 3rd as they hit that first turn. Carrot River out on top, a length and a half now. Kate Finesse and Clarified racing 3rd. Don Down has 4th as they go by the first quarter. Made of Luck is parked out 5th. Then Dewey Dynamo. I'm a Seahawk. Jet Step sees the rest of the field. They make their way to the first quarter, and Carrot River is on top. He leads a length and a half. Kate Finesse has the garden spot. She's racing 2nd, and Clarified is racing 3rd. They're single file. 1 by 1, they go racing by the first quarter, 30 and 4/5. Into that far turn, they drive to the 3/8 pole. And we've got a horse down. That's Made of Luck down in the turn. So is Jet Step, and I'm a Seahawk is running loose. The inquiry sign will go up. Off the 3/8 pole. They come racing off the top turn and come driving down the stretch in front of the grandstand, and Carrot River still shows the way. Kate Finesse and Clarified racing in 3rd. Dawn down, and Made of Luck is racing 5th. That's Dewey Dynamo down. Dewey Dynamo is a horse down as they go by the half. They were by the half. 1:04 and 1. And a loose horse, I'm a Seahawk. Racing into that far turn, the clubhouse turn for the second time. It is a Carrot River. He's on top and leads by the 5/8 pole. Kate Finesse Senda Clarified racing third. Dawn Down is fourth. And Maid of Luck trailing fifth. Driving to the 3/4, swing wide, gentlemen. We've got a horse down on the turn. Swing wide to the 3/4, Carrot River, Kate Finesse. Racing third, it's Clarified by the 3/4, by that marker 135-1 into that far turn. They get by the horses okay, and Carrot River still has the top. Kate Finesse and Clarified racing third. Dawn Down and the Maid of Luck trails. Carrot River is on top, and he takes them off the top turn, and they come driving home. It is Carrot River and Kate Finesse and Clarified. That's the way it's going to remain as they come down to the wire. Carrot River is holding Kate Finesse and Clarified. At the line, Carrot River, Kate Finesse, Clarified, Dawn Down and Maid of Luck. Time for the mile, 2:05-4. The result of the 10th and final is now official. Race 10 official. Kate Finesse was second. Clarified, third. Dawn Down, fourth. Dewey Dynamo did not finish. Carrot River, your race winner. I'm a Seahawk did not finish. Jet Step did not finish. And Maid of Luck was fifth. Race times by the quarter in 30-4. No time recorded at the half. 3/4, 135-1. Carrot River, your winner, in 2:05-4. Again, well, that concludes another program of harness racing from Exhibition Park. We thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the program. Just reporting from that spill in the 10th and final race, we are glad to tell you that reports say all the horses and drivers out of that spill are pretty much okay. So that's good news there. A good